Right, everybody, before we get properly started, I just want to quickly check if the stream is running smoothly and my voice sounds alright, because I did commentary last night and I think I had my mic too close to my face and it sounded very, very loud. So I'm just going to quickly double check it and then I'll be back with you in a second. Right, I think we're all good. So welcome along, everybody. For ERS, it is Tier 1 this week that I'm covering. Last week was Tier 2 on the same day, of course, on the Monday. But this time around, we are covering Tier 1 for round 10 here at a very wet Imola this evening, and 15 minutes of qualifying. 14 drivers that will be joining us on the grid, and there is a few drivers in here that I used to do the commentary on, and there was a few in the Tier 2 that I did commentary on as well. So it's nice to see some people back in here that I do remember. We've got, who have we got in here that I remember? We've got Arthur, we've got Max, Danny Banani, we've got Whoops as well. No, okay, as hopefully it doesn't do that too much. Yeah, of course we've got Whoops, who's actually told me specifically not to talk about his penalties today. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out, and if he gets any. He went very much over the curb there this time around, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully he doesn't go over too much. But anyway, let's have a look, shall we? On the grid, I think I remember Julian Myth Shadow is one of the OGs, as Danny Banani, the man himself, with 1 minute 25.955 for the first time then here in qualifying over the line, with 13 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock. 14 people, like I mentioned, and you know what, I'm going to go through some of the people on the grid. Let's have a look then. Danny Banani, of course, at the top. Then it is Daxi in second, Christos third, Arthur RJ, and Max, of course, as Tazaras. I remember Tazaras as well, to be fair. Tazaras in the Haas then, to the top of the timing tables at the moment, with a 1 minute 25.465 on times. Carrying on, we've got Ben Formula, we've got Kyrikos, Whoops, as now, speaking of the devil, goes fastest out of the pack then, 1 minute 25.323 as my game reconnects. Yeah, 1 minute 25.323 for Whoops on time. But Ben Formula, Kyrikos, Picnic, I remember Picnic, we've got Julian, Myth Shadow, Jelma, and Dave. As AMS Jelma then, or Yelma, I think is it Yelma? Or I'm going to say Yelma, I think. Yelma? I think Yelma goes quickest. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to find someone to put you on a lap with quickly. Let's have a look. We've got Dave then, that's invalidated, probably going around for a lap this time around, as Julian goes quickest, but I need to very quick. Oh, Dave goes around and then spins himself back around. Everybody has to do a 3-point turn. And there he goes, back on the track. But Myth Shadow, you can watch Myth Shadow's lap then for now, as I quickly need to try and sort the stream just for quality wise. But I'll be back in a few moments' time. But keep looking at this lap. Let's see what Myth Shadow can do. Right, everybody, I am back, and whoops goes even faster. 1 minute 23.282 on times then, and the closest guy to him is about 6/10 behind of Julian in P2. I'm not sure why it's trying to reconnect. I'm really sorry if it keeps doing this throughout the night, everybody. As Yelmer, sorry, to the top of the timing tables, 1 minute 23.0, 2/10 faster than Whoops in second place. And what a lap then from Whoops in, not Whoops, what a lap from Yelmer in first. Now 9 minutes and 25 seconds of qualifying then, everybody, on the clock. Of course, 14 people. We've still got 2 to put a time on the board. Myth Shadow nearly a second faster to second place. And this is showing us why these drivers are Tier 1. This is close indeed for qualifying up front at the moment. And hopefully we can get more people closer to them at the moment. But still got Christos and J-Max then for times. As Kyrikos into second, just above his teammate. As it keeps reconnecting. Sorry about this, guys. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets a bit worse. In a minute I'll try and sort it, but I just want to give you a bit of commentary. I don't want to not commentate. But yeah, 8 minutes and 30 seconds left, of course. Still 2 people with times to put on the board, like I mentioned. J-Max is coming round now. Maybe if that's him, I think. Oh, this is getting silly now. Where is he? J-Max then, who's invalidated his lap, unfortunately, will be coming round and will not be able to get a time on that board on this lap around, but maybe on the next one. We'll see what he does in a few moments' time. Danny Benani, who did go fastest out of everybody at the start, is going for it again. He's maybe on his lap now. I think he is on his lap then as he makes his way around the final few corners. And up towards the line then, here in Imola. What can Danny Benani do? Over the line then for his time, and it's P6 with a 2.3 second improvement. But it's only good enough for P6, and 2 Ferraris sat 6 and 7 on times at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So, with 7.5 minutes left of qualifying, it's the Kick Sauber up ahead then with his teammate down in P12. The rain is pouring then here in Imola. Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. Today is just not the day for my internet. The rain is pouring. Danny Benani nearly going around then, but saving it on the track there. And he's really trying to keep himself on the track. And he is on the track now and kept himself pretty nicely. Daxi then over the line. 3rd place for the McLaren. Lovely stuff. And 3rd is his. 1 minute 23.102. And a 10th behind P2. Gap between 1st and 2nd is about 0.05 of a second. Very close indeed on times at the moment. Who else can we go and watch then, everybody? Dave into the pit lane. Ben Formula now, who's just done 1 minute 25.474. Looks like he's on a flying lap here in the wet. I'm quickly going to try and see if I can sort the stupid messing about of the stream once again. But I'll leave you guys with this beautiful lap. Oh my god, see what I mean? I'll leave you guys with this lap, and let's see what the Kick Sauber can do. His teammate on provisional pole, can he get anywhere close? Right then, ladies and gentlemen, I've done my best to try and sort it. But I think that's the best we're going to get for now. I'm hoping the quality looks pretty decent. As it doesn't always look too great. But what I can see from my little stream on the corner, it is looking pretty decent at the moment. Anybody in the stream chat, be sure to say hello. Maybe ask some questions. It would be nice. I can see a few people in the chat. So don't be shy, everybody. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining me tonight. With 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock for qualifying. And up on your top of the screen, Arthur RJ has managed to go quickest out of everybody then on times at the moment. Then it's Danny Benani in second, who managed to put on a decent time and found himself second position. Christos now found himself third. Ben Formula 4. It's Yelmer in 5. Kyrikos in 6. Dax Daxi in 7, Miss Shadow in 8, it is Tazaras in 9, but to the top of the tables, it is Miss Shadow with a 1 minute 22.267, and a lovely time from the Mercedes car puts him on provisional pole for the Imola Grand Prix that is coming up just after this qualifying session. And it's coming up on your screen is the race format for today. Picnic to P1 there in 122.138, and a gorgeous time then for the Haas car. Puts himself on provisional pole, knocks Miss Shadow down. And what a time for the Haas car. But of course, like I mentioned on your screen, today's format, we've got qualifying now, which is about to end in 3 minutes time. Then it's the Grand Prix that will be coming up just after that. And now, whoops, over the line. That is a stonker of a lap. 1.7 seconds faster on time. That is rapid on the clock, on the track at the moment then, everybody. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left of qualifying, and the track seems to be getting drier. The track is ramping up then here in Imola. Everybody finding a bit of time on their previous laps. Miff Shadow's down by 2 seconds. Arthur on an outlap at the moment, and Danny Benani in the pit lane. Coming out on the outlap, actually. Christos in the pit lane. Max, J-Max then, making his way up towards the line, and it will be a very slow lap for him, but he's probably starting a flying lap now. Yelmer then up by 0.8 of a second. Kyrikos, 1.2 seconds up in the middle sector. What can the Mercedes do then on times? Making his way towards the line. Kyrikos on for a stonker, but will it be a good lap? And it is an absolute stonker. 2 seconds quicker than his previous time. Cements himself onto provisional pole here in Imola. And the Mercedes is at the top of the table. It is Miff Shadow, his teammate in P4 at the moment. Can he do anything to try and find himself a bit closer? But with 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock for qualifying, it is all getting pretty exciting here, isn't it, everybody, on the track. The track is ramping up, track evolution taking place. It is all getting very dry out there on track, and people are suddenly finding massive amounts of time that they didn't know they could get. Picnic with a 10th up. Yelmer now to second place on time. Kyrikos still sat comfortably on provisional pole. Sorry, Dax Taxi on a lap. Whoops, on a lap as well, and is up by 3.5 tenths in the fourth set. Not the fourth sector. In the first sector, everybody, Ben Formula up by 9 tenths on his previous lap. That isn't a bad lap at all for Formula. Picnic then as well has invalidated on time. Miff Shadow, for some reason, is driving into a wall. Arthur RJ is on a flying lap and invalidated on that one. Tazaras up by half a second as well. And Dave was up by half a second, but of course, unfortunately, has invalidated. Yelmer down by 7 tenths. Daxi then on a lap. Is anybody ahead of him on a lap? Whoops, he's down on time, unfortunately. Daxi, has he got anything then in the bag to show for it for this lap? The McLaren absolutely flying down the hill then and towards the end of this beautiful lap here in Imola. What can the McLaren do in the closing stages of qualifying then here in Italy? The McLaren flying towards the line. DRS will be activated and over the line then for the McLaren, and he is good enough to go on provisional pole just before the end of qualifying. And the McLaren with a 1 minute 20.954 sticks himself on provisional pole, and he's got a very good chance of taking it, unless the guys behind him find a bit of time. Kyrikos up by 2/10 of a second, and we'll see what he can do as he makes his way towards the end of the second sector. What can the Mercedes do? 3/10 up, everybody, on time. It is all getting a bit exciting here then in Imola. Dax Daxi on provisional pole with a 1 minute 20.954. What can the Mercedes do with the slipstream from the Haas car that was ahead of him? He slips to the left-hand side, pulls around to the left again. Danny Benani and Ben Formula have retired. What can Kyrikos do? The Mercedes plummet into the line then, over the line, and he will take provisional pole at the end, and that is his final lap of today's qualifying session. Kyrikos on provisional pole and set for it at the moment. Dax Daxi not improving, Yelmer not improving, Whoops not improving. Christos then over the line. What can Christos do? Second place is what he can do. And he really makes an impression here in today's race. 1/10 behind Kyrikos. And the Mercedes is on for pole position here in Imola. Christos second, starting in the front row with him. Dax Daxi in third. Then Yelmer 4. Whoops 5. Pitnick 7, Myth Shadow 8, Arthur RJ 9, Dave 10, Danny Milani 11, Max 12, Tazaras 13, and Julian in 14. Right, everybody, my voice sounded very, very high, not high, loud, I think, on that stream. So I've quickly just tried to sort it. Let me just quickly test. Hang on. Right, I'm just having a look. I don't know if that's any better. Let me know if it is. I'm going to quickly have a look as well myself. But it is incredibly loud. I don't know why, but my mic has all of a sudden gone super bass boosted. Anyway, Kyrikos then in the Mercedes on pole position. Don't you just love to see it, everybody, as I quickly check my voice. Hang on. Wait, mate, in the chat, are you saying you want me to turn it up or you want me to turn it down a bit? What are you saying? Oh, okay. I don't know if that's any better, mate. Let me know. I literally turned it up a tiny bit. You have to let me know. Thing is, I'm talking normally now, and if that's loud, I mean, when I'm absolutely shouting, I don't want it to sound awful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I could try and move my mic away a little bit. Try and get it a bit further away. Like that, maybe. Cheers, mate. Right, hang on a minute. Give me a sec. What are you saying no for? Have I made it not perfect now? Have I ruined it, mate? Is it okay now or what? I've just moved it to the kind of the same spot. Oh well, are we on the grid for formation lap? Yes, we are. Formation lap, everybody. As it starts now, and we'll quickly try and perfect my audio. Right. I hope that's all okay for you now, everybody. If it's too loud through the stream, I really do apologise, but I'm not sure what happens, you know. I'm not sure what's happened, you know, because I literally haven't changed anything, and it's all of a sudden gone super loud. But let me know, and you know, because right now I'm talking pretty low and it sounds alright, but as soon as I get commentating louder, I don't want it to sound awful, but anyway. Should be okay as we prepare to go into the round 10 race here in Imola for ERS. And it's all getting a bit exciting now on the grid as the last few drivers line up on this racing circuit. The Ferrari of Julian to line up at the back. As we watch from afar then, we await the lights to go out. It is 4 and 5 lights here in Imola. Round 10 gets underway. It's lights out and away we go. Kyrikos with a beautiful start down into turn 1. Managing to hold off Daxi for now, but the McLaren already trying to challenge into turn 1. The Alpine as well. Going round the outside, the two Alpines working as a pair, trying to slice through the pack at the back, but Kyrikos with a beautiful start from Daxi, who is challenging down into turn 3. Can he try and make his move yet? No, he cannot. Behind that comes the two Alpines. Then it is Yelmer in 5, Picnic in 6. Then it's Dave 7, Formula in 8. And then Julian in 9, all making their way up towards the second sector. I still haven't turned off the formation lap on the screen. I'm really sorry, guys. But they all go racing here in Imola. Beautiful start and a very clean start, I must add, indeed. 32 laps of racing that we have around here in Imola as the lead is being contended then. Daxi is looking very racy, I've got to say, behind Kyrikos at the moment, looking to make that move for the top position on the grid at the moment. But can he do it as we make our way onto the main straight? Right then, making his way down into turn 1 and 2, Kyrikos leading this race then from Daxi on the grid at the moment. Then it's Christoph, in 3rd, Whoops in 4, Yelmer in 5, Pitnick in 6, Formula in 7 at the moment. But the lead is being contested, and when can Daxi pounce for that position? He is looking so incredibly racy behind the Mercedes, the McLaren, the 2Ms, looking for this overtake then. But when will it happen? Because he's got the Alpine right on his backside as well, and he's looking very close indeed to make that overtake stick. When can he strike? Christos very close behind, seeming like he wants to make that move. But lap 2 out of 32, 30 laps to go in today's race, everybody. Down into turn 1, Christos with the DRS, the McLaren ahead as well with the DRS. But who's fast enough to make their way through the pack at the moment? They're all getting very dicey, very close and racy at the moment on the track on the 3rd lap out of 32. And Christos looking like he wants to make a move. Behind that as well, Yelmer looking incredibly close on Whoops, looking like he wants to try and make a move on the Alpine. When will this Kick Sauber manage to get through? Down up until the last few corners of the second sector. Still a big long train of drivers, everybody still in that one main pod that they all started in at the very start of this Grand Prix. Daxi now looking right on the backside of Kyrikos, down into the final few corners, and into sector 3 we go, everybody, towards the end of this lap. The McLaren looking for the move on the Mercedes, the long anticipated wait that we have had, waiting for this move to happen. Will it happen down the straight? The DRS will be activated as well. But now we make our way down the main straight, and Jack Crossley with the DRS drag reduction system helping him with the extra speed down the inside, and the McLaren clears the Mercedes then, as the Alpine as well looking to make the move past the Mercedes, but wasn't fast enough on this occasion. As the racing has been very, very nice so far. We've been waiting for the overtakes, and we finally got one. Jack Crossley, your new race leader in today's Grand Prix, and of course with a beautiful, beautiful overtake that he managed to get through down into the first turn. But as we now watch this little thing unfold of the drivers ahead, we're looking for more overtakes, and Christos looking close on Kyrikos. Kyrikos looking like he wants to make a move on Jack Crossley possibly, with a half a tenth gap at the moment, but the DRS will be activated as we head down into the main straight. It could well happen, but when will he strike? He's going to strike now, and he's going to strike hard to the outside line. He isn't able to get through at the moment on the 5th lap out of 32. And it's Jack Crossley who hold the lead then. Picnic and Whoops as J-Max a 3-second penalty. Whoops looking for that move on Picnic. He's looking right close to him on the backside, as I won't mention it. I won't mention it, mate. Whoops looking for that move on Picnic. When will he manage to get through? Two people with penalties, Whoops and J-Max then on the track at the moment on the 5th lap out of 32 in today's Grand Prix. There's a purple middle sector for Jack Crossley, absolutely flying away with the lead. He's 8 tenths ahead nearly of Kyrikos in P2. Then it's Christos in P3, Yelmer in 4, and Picnic in 5. That is your top 5 on the grid then at this moment in time. And behind, Myth Shadow has gone around on the back of the grid now, right down to the back, and unfortunately spun himself around. And he's back on now though, but he is at the back of the grid, but racing once again. Lap 6 out of 32. And Jack Crossley is your race leader from Kyrikos, and Christos, your podium. At the top 3, you can see them at the moment, the McLaren, the Mercedes, and the Alpine on the grid. Is the Alpine looking a bit wide there, a bit deep, as Yelmer down the inside and gets the move done past the Alpine of Christos. And he has to concede, he has to, and Yelmer gets through to P3 and snatches away that podium position. I think Tazaras, never mind, Dave and Tazaras maybe, and Danny Benani, all looking very, very racy at the back of the grid. It all gets a bit looked over really at the back of the grid. As Picnic gets a 3-second, Dave gets a 3-second penalty as well. But the back of the grid, and Myth Shadow gets a 3-second at the same time. But yeah, the back of the grid all do get very looked over, and no, the racing is lovely from the back at the moment. It's going very wide. Danny Benani on the track. Yelmer with the fastest lap of the race at the moment, as we have got Kyrikos to take the lead then of the Grand Prix up ahead, and a new race leader has come to light. It is Kyrikos taking the lead of the race. Love to see it, and the Mercedes is now ahead then from Jack Crossley, Yelmer and Christos, your top 4 at this moment in time. Then comes Whoops. Then comes Picnic, Ben Formula, J-Max. And behind, Dave has gone around. That's a second driver that we've seen spin around then on the grid at the moment, which is really, really unfortunate. But to be fair, they have seen them. They have brought themselves back on straight away. So shouldn't be too much to worry about. But on the 7th lap out of 32, then everybody, Jack Crossley, the McLaren in 2nd place. behind Kyrikos in the lead. Will we get a new race leader? Will we get Daxi being able to challenge for the lead? Danny Benani with a 3-second penalty on the track at the moment. But here we go, Daxi making his way down. Dave with a 3-second penalty. If you're in the chat, let me know how you think the commentary's going, if you think anything could be any better, but let me know what you think of it, and let me know what you think of this one right here as Daxi gets through then to take the lead of the Grand Prix, and once again is the new race leader here in Imola. What a move then from the McLaren, making his way through to the lead of this race. In the chat, great top four, absolutely great top four, mate. All sticking brilliantly close together. We've got a pod of 2 that comes behind that. Picnic and Picnic and Whoops, all together, and then there's a big pack of the rest of the pack that comes behind that. But they all are staying very close, aren't they? As we are on lap 8 now, out of 32, and we'll make our way around to start lap 9 in a few moments time. The Ferrari going off wide then, off the track there. Oh my god, the internet is awful at the moment. Down the inside, Julian on Myth Shadow. Will he be able to find his footing on the Mercedes? I think the Ferrari has done it, and yes he has. He is through to P12 down the main straight. Now the Mercedes has got the DRS fighting back on the Ferrari, and P12 is Myth Shadows. Danny Benani and Tazaras then, P9 and P10. Danny Benani making his way up to P9 on the track at the moment, as we do reach lap 9 out of 32 and nearly onto the 10th lap out of 32. As we watch from the front, Daxi, who is half a second ahead of Kyrikos then on time. It's the Mercedes, it's the McLaren, then it's the Mercedes, then it is the Kick Sauber of Yelma in P3. And a beautiful, beautiful top 4 that we are experiencing at this moment in time, everybody. And there we go, down into turn 1, side by side again. Kyrikos looking for the move, and the Kick Sauber as well. And Kyrikos is through to be the new race leader. Daxi now in second place. The Yelma nearly trying to get through as well. And Christos is on the scene in P4. Will anybody be able to make any more overtakes? Look at that, Christos carrying the speed then through the first few corners. And he's got the Kick Sauber in his sightline. When will he make the move? When will he pounce then on the Sauber? When will he manage to find the gap to get through on the Sauber ahead of him? Right behind him at the moment in the Alpine, absolutely pushing with all he has got. Kyrikos with a 3-second time penalty. That's pretty big, isn't it? Because Daxi keeps swapping positions with him. You know what? Actually, there's a second between them at the moment. It's the biggest we've seen so far. But the battle continues ahead, and it is incredibly exciting then at the moment. Top 4 leaders round the final few corners and over the line. And we'll begin lap 11 out of the 32 that we have here in the Grand Prix. 21 laps to go, and Yelma on the move then past the McLaren. He gets overtaken, and the Kick Sauber is into second place. Anyway, everyone in the chat, how you all doing? You having a good day, everybody? I'm certainly having a good day with the racing that is going on at the moment. It is all incredibly exciting up at the front. Dave with a 3-second time penalty at the moment, and we've got a lot of drivers with penalties as well, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to really play into the hands of me in the commentary box, as Ben formally gets a 3-second penalty. Yeah, it plays in the hands of me because it gives us some good action, and it can really mix up the race that we have in front of us. So it is very exciting indeed. Down the straight then, we start lap 12 out of 32. Yelmer in second, Dax Daxi in third position as Christos, do not count this man out, right in P4 and just looming over the top three, waiting for the right moment to pounce, and he's going to pick the right time. I know he is, we'll have to see what he can do though in the next few laps. We're already on lap 12 out of 32, about a third into this race at this moment in time, everybody. And nearing halfway in at this moment in time. But anyway, lap 12 and Kyrikos, your race leader on this certain lap. Then it's Yelmer in second, Dax Taxi 3, Christos in 4. Behind that, everybody's still bunched up. Really well bunched up as well, to be fair. Really well, actually. And it is pretty mesmerising watching it. I cannot apologise enough, by the way, for the internet. It is really bad tonight. This is absolutely brilliant with the way everybody is situated around each other at the moment. But we go back to the top 4 once again. And we witness a big battle. Christos then going around the outside. It will be a beautiful move if you can get it done. Nearly 2-in-1 there for the Alpine, but he got through past the kick Sauber. He couldn't quite make it past the McLaren on that lap around, but he is right behind him on the 13th lap, and I think it might just well happen in a few moments time. He is incredibly close to making that move stick down the straight, but he just couldn't do it. Right then, here we are. We are making our way down towards the end of this lap then, here in Imola, over the second sector line, and towards the end of this lap here, it is all going to come down to, at the end of this race, who has penalties and who doesn't. I've just seen 2 people get penalties right now, and, you know, Kyrikos with a penalty. It's not going to help him with Dax Daxi behind him, because Dax Daxi is looking racy, and here's quick, but do not count out Christoph from P4. He's now into P2 and looking for the move on the Mercedes as well. He is very close there, but isn't able to get through. But he is still on the charge, and the Alpine, that was a good move, to be fair. That was a really good move. And gets the overtake done on Dax Daxi, who now gets dropped down to P3 on lap 14 out of 32. My bad, everybody's getting a bit of water down me, because I'm absolutely, my throat is absolutely killing. Kyrikos then in the Mercedes, leading this Grand Prix from Christos as yellow flags get thrown about. Somebody's gone round. The Alpine of Whoops then bringing himself back onto the track, onto P11 on the grid. But in the pit lane goes Dax Daxi, which is very exciting indeed. I wasn't expecting that. Also behind him follows Yelmer as well. It's Christos that takes the lead of the Grand Prix from Kyrikos in second then at the moment. But of course they haven't pitted. We'll see when people do pit. It's all going to get a bit exciting then out here on the track. No, next lap, everybody, is half race distance. If anyone's in the chat, you want to say hello, have a little chat, it'll be good to see you. Maybe ask me some questions, I don't mind. I do love a good few questions in the chat, or people just engaging. So whatever you want to do, guys, make sure you get in there and have a good little chat. But it's good to be back, everybody, here in ERS. It is such a lovely league, it really is, and props to the two main guys that keep it going, the two absolute lads. J-Max and J-Max. Sorry, I don't know what about J-Max. A 3-second penalty on the grid at the moment. But yeah, Geordie and Ronald really deserve some credit for what they do with this league, and everybody, all the tier managers, everybody in this league, absolutely props to you for keeping it going with your, I think it's 7 tiers, isn't it, you've got, which is just absolutely mental. But whoops with a 3-second time penalty. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't have said that, mate. Should have mentioned it. That was a whoops, wasn't it? But yeah, really well done to the two guys that run it. Of course, it is such a good league. It really is. As we are half race distance now, I'm glad to be back for this second week running here on the Monday, like I used to do before as well. So it's pretty nice. But I do commentary all day. Oh, not all day. I don't know about Miff Shadow with the 3-second penalty. Yeah, I do commentary majority of the days in the week. So if you want to check out some of my stuff, guys, you can go over to my Twitch or my YouTube, or well, I've got all my socials, to be fair, on my Instagram, whatever. I'm on pretty much most of it, but you can find me on there. And you got any questions, you can get in touch about anything on the Instagram or through Discord. But yeah, I do a lot of streaming all through the week, to be fair. Too much. I've got to say, too much. Danny Benani then on the backside of J-Max. Can he try and get through? No, he cannot. Christos now with a 3-second penalty. And the whole top 6 have all got penalties. Daxi, still the man that was up there earlier on. Maybe we'll be able to get up there soon as well when everyone ahead pits. And he is sat with no penalties. Tazaras 2, Jelma 2, and Arthur. No penalties for them guys as Julian gets through past Whoops then, overtaking to P12, and the Ferrari is through past him. Lovely to see. Lap 17 out of 32 going on to lap 18 is Tazaras with a 3-second time penalty. And speaking of time penalties, we might as well go through them. Ooh. Alright, we'll go through the 3 seconds. So it's Christos 3, Kyrikos 3, Picnic 3, Tazaras 3, Ben Formula 3, and Julian with 3-second penalties. Then we go to the 6s. It is Miff Shadow, J-Max, and Danny Benani. And then the 9s, we've got Whoops with a 9-second penalty. But never fear, it's okay, as Kyrikos is in the pit lane. Tazaras in the pit lane too. And Christos carries on the hard compound tyres on lap 18 out of 32 at the moment, as Daxi in P6 now, overtaking Kyrikos and Tazaras out of the pit lane. He's beaten him to it, and Jelma as well, beating him out of the pit lane. And into P8 then, the kick Sauber goes as Julian gets the fastest lap of today's Grand Prix. Arthur getting through past Tazaras as well, as he comes out of the pit lane. And just about made it through. But lap 18 out of 32. Lap 19 coming up. And Christos is your leader behind. A move was cooking up on the horizon there. But we didn't quite get it on the track, unfortunately. But the racing has been very fun so far. Dave retired from the session. 1 driver out of this race at the moment. 13 drivers remain in today's Grand Prix. It's been very clean indeed so far. It really has. Very I can't speak. Very clean. As the Mercedes in the pit lane, Danny Benani, the Williams hitting the wall as well and breaking the board on the side. But now they're in the pit lane. Danny Benani stays out, and Christos stays out too at the moment in time. Pitnick, Miff Shadow, J-Max on their way out of the pit lane. Everybody overtaking them. And a beautiful battle then with the Williams and the Haas. The two Williams coming out at the same time. And the Haas manages to get through past the Williams of Arthur RJ then into P9 for Tazaras. Lovely to see as we move back up towards the front on lap 19 out of 32. And Christos still leading. Will this be the lap then on lap 20 that he goes into the pit lane? Finally, to change them old hard compound tyres. The same goes for Danny Benani in second. We'll have to just see because it'll all come down to that. And now will the Alpine decide to go in? He does not. He stays out and carries on for more laps. Christos clearly thinks he's got more in them tyres and can manage them well enough to keep going on the track then in that Alpine on the old hard compound tyres. 20 laps then that he's been on them. 20 laps of being in this Grand Prix. And 12 more to go then in this race. Coming out of the pit lane, Danny Benani in the Ferrari, making his way down. Miff Shadow with a 3-second penalty as Danny Benani getting really overtaken now. And this is what I was talking about. Dax Daxi, not with a single penalty to his name. He's got 20 seconds between him and Christos, so he might just well get through past Christos when he pits. J-Max with a 3-second penalty. If Daxi can make his way through past Christos when he pits, this is looking like it could go the way of the McLaren on this race right here on round 10 here for Tier 1. It could just go Daxi's way, but we'll have to see how it plays out then in the remainder 12 laps of today's Grand Prix. Remainder 11 laps now as over the line goes Christos. It's Karikos with a 3-second time penalty. Getting a bit dicey down the exit for the race leader, who is 19.6 seconds ahead of the pack. Miff Shadow and Ben Formula 6 and 7 at the moment. The Mercedes ahead of the Kick Sauber. Miff Shadow trying to keep the guy behind him in the past as a Miff then, but what can the Shadow do into turn 1? He will of course keep his position and 3.3 seconds ahead of 3.3 seconds behind, of Pitnick, as Pitnick, speak of the devil, gets a 3-second time penalty. Now Miff Shadow with the quickest middle sector on the time, on the lap here then in Imola here for ERS. But lap 21 out of 32, 11 laps to go. And it's all running down now then towards the end of this race into the final third. Arthur RJ with a 3-second time penalty. The back end kicking out there for the Mercedes. The 3-second time penalty gets awarded as well to Ben Formula, I think, on the track. But the Mercedes then down into the final few corners, striving to gain time on the 2.5 that he's got ahead of him to Pitnick. He wants to try and get P5 if he's able to, but not going to help him with the big DRS train that's happening in front of him. DRS activated for the for the Haas, for the Mercedes, and for the Kick Sauber around the outside. The Haas tries, isn't able to get through on this lap right here, but lap 22 out of 32, 10 more to go as Christos still continues on. He's going to drag it out then, and he'll put himself on the softs before the end of this Grand Prix. Maybe it's going to be this lap because he has dropped time on the car behind of Daxi. He has dropped time indeed, about 0.7 of a second at this moment in time. Now what can Christos do? Will he go into the pit lane? Will he carry on? Are his tyres still good enough for him? No, they're not. He now goes in, and the softs are going to be coming out now. Start counting, everybody. 18 seconds that he's got in this pit lane. 18. And I do believe he's going to get overtaken by the McLaren. McLaren round the final corner. The Alpine on its way out. It's a very long pit lane, and the McLaren will very, very easily pass the Alpine of Christos And there we go. Zach Staxi is ahead and leading from Christos in second on his way out of the pit lane. Everybody, Danny Benali with a 3-second time penalty, but with not many laps to go in today's race. You can vote your driver of the day. Vote closes at the end of the race. Post it in the Twitch chat for us, everybody. It's unofficial driver of the day. It's just my own little driver of the day that I like to hold in the chat. But if you guys want to put your suggestions in the chat, we can do that at the end if anybody puts it in. Daxi, I've already seen that's one vote. If we don't get any more votes, Daxi will be the driver of the day. But yeah, brilliant stuff. Love to see it. Daxi has been voted at the moment, and to be fair, I absolutely agree. Oh, not a new race leader, sorry. Yeah, I absolutely do agree, because I mean, Daxi has drove brilliantly and with no penalties on the grid at the moment. He has drove a superb drive, the McLaren has. Yelmer in second, and then we've got Pitnick in third then on lap 23 out of 32, and it's been such a nice race today, it really has. See all the blue cars at the back of the grid as well, if you can see that. We've got the Williams, the Alpine and the other Williams making their way around, but now down the main straight it's the Haas of Pitnick on the Sauber of Yelmer, not making a move. Kyrikos and Myth Shadow as well now, the two Mercedes looking a bit close. Myth still needs to pit, I'm not sure, I'll have a look, mate. No, Myth Shadow has pitted, mate. Everybody with one pit stop then in the race then here at the minute. Everybody sorry, has pitted at least once on this grid. Dave even pitted before he retired. But lap 24 now out of 32. 8 laps to go. Over the line, 4 lap 25 out of 32, everybody, and the laps are starting to run down. Kyrikos with the fastest lap on the grid, and here we go, finally some action. 3x3 then, 3 abreast down into turn 1. Pitnick is through to second, Kyrikos third, and Yelmer in 4 at the moment on the 25th lap out of 32. It's all getting very, very close then on the track. And here we go. Will we get another overtake? Maybe before the end of this lap, or will it be when we go around down into turn 1 once more? Daxi, who has drove such a brilliant race, superbly executed and dominated today. Myth Shadow with a 3-second time penalty. Daxi then with no penalties. Myth Shadow now with one as well. Pitnick with a penalty. Kyrikos with a penalty. Yelmer as well, another driver with no penalties. I mean, what a superb job from these guys, and if Yelmer keeps this up, he will be on that podium. He can be sure of that. Christos and Ben Formula, P6 and P7 now having a battle, but the Alpine is through to P6. Ben Formula in P7 is just behind on time then, everybody. But this race has gone very fast indeed. You guys are making it run down brilliantly, and I've got to give it to you. You guys really do know how to drive. You really do. And this is exactly why it is tier 1. You guys are brilliant. Danny Benani with a 3-second penalty. Myth Shadow and Yelmer then going side by side. The Mercedes takes P4, trying to keep him at bay now. Christos as well, trying to make his way through past Yelmer. Will he be able to make his way through past the bright green car in front of him? Lap 26 out of 32 we are on. 37 next, but will the Alpine be able to get on and pass the Sauber before this lap? or after, we'll just have to say, is he's right on the backside and making his way right down towards the last few corners here in Italy, here in Imola. What can Christos do on the backside? The DRS will get activated in a few moments time down the main straight, and that'll be where we can really tell when a move starts coming in. Lap 27 out of 32 is Formula. Gets a 3-second penalty. We've got 5 laps to go in today's race. And Christos then looking for the move on the Sauber and the Mercedes down the inside of the Sauber. Side by side then through the first few corners on lap 27. It is the Alpine that manages to get through. Round goes J-Mac. Someone goes round actually. Somebody went round, but they're back on the track now and all good. Lap 27 out of 32 like I mentioned. And brilliant racing so far, absolutely brilliant. Once again, vote your driver of the day, everybody. If you're in the chat, we've already got 1 vote. Anymore. We've got time. Bring it in. We've got 5 more laps to do so before this race is concluded. 13 people on the grid that are remaining in this race, and the race has been absolutely lovely so far. 9.7 seconds. Dax Taxi is ahead of the rest of the pack. Majority of the people with penalties. It was Yelma that went round down into P9. As Dax Taxi no penalty, Yelma with no penalty. Unfortunately, will not be making his way onto the podium today, but he will be gaining time. As Julian with the retiring, on the track actually. I think he retired on the track, did he? Oh no, he's gone straight into the barrier. No safety car though. No safety car, but a big hit for the Ferrari, yeah. Whoops, with another 3-second, mate. Sorry for mentioning it. Yeah, 3-second penalty, and Christos goes fastest in the first sector then, around here in Imola. Lap 28 now, out of 32. As the McLaren up ahead is driving absolutely superbly. Not a foot out of line for this man as he makes his way down towards the end of this lap with a 9.1 second advantage to the guys behind. He has drove perfectly and you couldn't ask for any more. The Haas then a picnic looking for the move on Christos as Myth Shadow gets a 3-second time penalty. But what can the Haas car do then on the Alpine of Christos? Looking for that move right on the backside of him and looking to try and just pry the overtake, try and maybe get it done. The DRS will be activated. It won't really have too much of an effect then as Christos is 7 tenths ahead, but it'll bring the gap down just a little bit and help him out to get a bit closer to the guy ahead of him. But now lap 29 out of 32, it's all running down to the wire as Yelma and Tazaras now having a scrap, and Yelma in P8 manages to get through. J-Max then overtaking Whoops into P10. Kyrikos with a 3-second penalty as well. Penalties must be bad now. Oh, there are some pretty bad penalties. Yeah, we won't even talk about them, to be fair. Let's not talk about them. We'll just see what the effect it has on the race, on the last lap of the race, shall we? We'll just have to wait. Oh! Into the barrier, Kyrikos! Right, he goes right around, and he was gaining as well on Dax Taxi. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but he was gaining. He was pulling time out of the bag. And then suddenly spins around before the end of this lap. And Kyrikos' hopes and dreams in the Mercedes all come crashing down at the very last minute then. Here in ERS, here in Imola. And with 2 laps to go, that is it for Kyrikos. Myth Shadow with another 3-second time penalty. Lots of penalties coming in then on the track at the moment. Whoops and J-Max finally again going at it now. Whoops is ahead of J-Max at the moment. J-Max trying to get through, but at the moment in the Williams isn't able to. The only really overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1. It's the only place I've seen overtakes happen. It really is. But at the moment, unfortunately, that is the only place we've seen them. Unfortunately as well, only 2 laps remaining in today's race, and the McLaren of Daxi is making his way down then towards the end of this lap, and will set us in stone on the 31st out of 32 lap in today's race, and over the line to start lap 31 and start the penultimate lap of today's Grand Prix, with 12 remaining drivers here then in Imola. Daxi leads from Christos in second, Pitnick in third, Ben Formula in four, Myth Shadow in fifth, Danny Banani in sixth, as Myth Shadow gets through past Ben Formula into turn one, into P4. Then it's Yelmer in seven, who has got a Haas of Tazaras trying to make a move on him, but wasn't able to get through at the moment in time. Tazaras in 8, Kyrikos in 9, it's Whoops in 10, J-Max in 11, and Arthur RJ in P12 then, everybody, on the grid. It's the McLaren who is leading, is making his way up towards the end of the second sector, and finally into the final sector around here in Imola to finish off the second to last lap of today's Grand Prix here in Imola. And what a race it has been so far. We've got a lap left to enjoy it all and take it all in, as Daxi will put us on that lap in a few moments time. Maybe a move happening here soon with Tazaras and Jelma, as Kari costs another 3 seconds, and it is an absolute lost cause for him now. It really is. Nothing will be coming out of it from him anymore. Once again, vote your driver of the day if anyone's in chat. But lap 32 now, out of 32 on the grid. And let's watch then the final few overtakes we'll get in today's race. Maybe down into turn one. Here we go. Any moves then forming? None from them. And here we go. Yelmer and Tazaras then. Tazaras gets through to P7. Yelmer down in P8, dropping down. And that is that then. I think that is the last few overtakes. Apart from possibly this. No, that is it. Every overtake completed really in the race now. On the final lap of the Grand Prix, Daxi very nearly picking up a penalty before the end of the race there. Very, very nearly indeed. But as we are on the final lap of the race, everybody, it is all coming down to the wire, as the McLaren then that we watch from above absolutely pelted it down towards the end of this lap. Tazaras another 3 seconds, but this McLaren has been the man to watch. He has been the man of the hour, the man of the evening, and the man of the show. Absolutely beautiful and spectacular performance. Daxi wins in Imola, wins the Italian Grand Prix for McLaren. That was a champion's drive. He takes P1, Christos in P2, Pitnick over the line P3, Ben Formula 4. Oh my god, the penalties. Yelmer then to P3. Finally got the podium. Yelmer managed to pick up the podium at the end, as Whoops another 3 second penalty. Pitnick P4. Ben Formula 5, Tazaras 6, Danny Banani 7, Myth Shadow in 8, Kyrikos in 9, J-Max in 10, and they did swap round at the end, but that was brilliant. Thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been really good. As in-game driver of the day, Danny Banani, I've got to say, my driver of the day has got to go to Daxi, as that did win as well with one of the votes, and my vote as well, so I'd say 2 votes there. So Daxi is the driver of the day, everybody, in the stream. But I'm not sure if you guys do that in the actual Discord, so you can go ahead and do that, of course, as well. But there we go, Daxi taking the win for the McLaren, a championship drive, a champion's drive. What a drive then for the Dutchman, taking the win with 25 points in the bag. Christos then in the Alpine taking second, and Yelmer just managing to get into P3. The other Dutchmen taking P3, love to see it. Then it is Pitnick P4, Ben Formula 5, Tazaras 6, Danny Banani 7, Myth Shadow 8, Kyrikos 9, J-Max 10, Arthur 11, Whoops 12, and then Julian and Dave have retired. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. That is it from me for today. I do stream the rest of the week, so you can go ahead to my Twitch channel and watch my weekly streams on there. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, everything is open, and the Instagram is open to DMs as well if you need to ask me any questions or even talk to me about anything. But Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next Monday.